After that, he started spamming. I said yes, so he would stop, and he asked me to join him. Bro, fine. Why are you so desperate?
I joined him in his place, but I couldn't find him.
I must finish what he started.
Come over here and kiss me on my hot mouth.
Before we start this episode, you should know that Trailblazers of America is an exciting narrative series that chronicles the westward expansion of the United States. America's stories told through brave frontiersmen, geography, tools of the time, and more in an age-appropriate style, made especially for tweens. Enjoy more free videos like this for kids of all ages on our website. And for parents and teachers, subscribe for free to PragerUkids.com.
Back in 1789, George Washington's presidency had just begun, and violence raged in a corner of the young nation he had been chosen to lead. The land west of Pennsylvania, north of the Ohio River, east of the Mississippi River, and below the Great Lakes was known as the Northwest Territory, and thanks to winning independence, it was now property of the United States. But owning the land was not the same as controlling it. Under British rule, this Northwest Territory was reserved for Indian tribes, and despite being lightly populated, colonists were prohibited from moving in. But the lands were now America's, and there were new plans that involved men like Johnny Appleseed. John Chapman was born in Massachusetts, but he didn't stay there too long. Like so many Americans unhappy with the life they were born into, John went west. Getting there, he spent time as an apprentice to an orchard, learning the science of growing and managing fruit trees. His favorite kind was apple, and before long, John was planting orchards of his own up and down the Allegheny River Valley. But as John's apples grew peacefully in western Pennsylvania, war raged in America's new western frontier. The new nation needed money and was bursting with people wanting to own land, so the plan was to begin selling off the Northwest Territory, where there were hundreds of thousands of miles of wilderness that could be turned into productive farmland. Problem was that purchases came with risks of tomahawks, arrows, and bullets. Most Indians of the region chose peace, but some turned to violence. Members of the Delaware, Miami, and Shawnee tribes raided early American settlements, murdered and tortured victims, and brought so much chaos to the Ohio River Valley that President Washington decided to send in U.S. military forces. The warring Indian tribes were supplied with weapons and soldiers from Fort Detroit in nearby British Canada. The Americans lost the first few battles of what became known as the Northwest Indian War, but after ramping up their training and organization, the Americans got rolling, and after a massive win at the Battle of Fallen Timbers, the war was over. John Chapman was among the first to take advantage of the new peace, quickly making his way into the Northwest Territory. Chapman crisscrossed all over the Ohio region, planting apple trees and teaching others how to do the same. His orchards not only provided fruit, but they also helped people hold on to their land. In order to maintain ownership, settlers had to successfully grow at least a crop or two. John covered so much land and helped so many people grow apple orchards that he became a celebrity, and the legend of Johnny Appleseed swept the country. Famous for not only apples, John became an early American legend due to his kind, gentle, and generous personality. He was a man of peace who was liked by both settlers and Indians, but as he led the way in taming the wilderness, violence eventually found him. Thanks largely to the efforts of frontier nurserymen like Johnny Appleseed, the lands of the Northwest Territory were transforming, and this forced an ever-growing number of Indians to do the same. Chief Blackhoof of the Shawnee accepted the reality of the changing world. He urged his tribe to adapt culturally and adopt at least some American ways. But one charismatic Shawnee warrior felt differently. Tecumseh preached that despite speaking different languages and centuries of fighting against one another, Indians should unite and defend their lands and ways. He attracted thousands of followers from different tribes, and in November of 1811, his Indian alliance attacked the U.S. Army at the Battle of Tippecanoe in Indiana Territory. The Americans were initially caught off guard, but prevailed after 2 hours of vicious hand-to-hand combat. But despite the loss, Tecumseh and his remaining men weren't done fighting Americans. 7 months later, the War of 1812 broke out between the U.S. and Great Britain, and the Shawnee warrior quickly joined the Brits. Not one to carry a weapon, John served his country during the war nonetheless. Always on the move, he often heard important information and would spread the news as quickly and as far as he could, once even running 30 miles in a night in order to warn the town of Mansfield, Ohio, that an army of Tecumseh's was on the way. America eventually defeated the British and Tecumseh, and the Proud Warriors movement fell apart. Peace came to the Northwest Territory, and John was free to keep exploring the countryside, expanding the frontier, and planting trees. His travels took him as far west as the Illinois Territory and the mighty Mississippi River, not far from where our next trailblazers began an incredible journey to the sea. Keep the adventure going. Explore even more of America's Trailblazers in our book series. Also, watch ad-free episodes only at PragerUKids.com.